You are Locked On Eagles Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Welcome to the Locked On Eagles Postcast. Jason Myrtetus, Harry Mayes, brought to you by FanDuel. And right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And I hope you bet the Super Bowl. And if you did, I hope you bet the Eagles. Harry, I was not expecting that.
Well, I told you about a week or so ago that I emptied out my online wagering apps on the birds.
Yeah.
At +1, +1.5. I had money line +100 or +110, whichever it was in the various apps. And I just knew that they were going to win this game. Now, I didn't know it was going to be a complete beatdown, but although I'm really not surprised. And I'm really not, because I thought that the Kansas City Chiefs, although they've got great players and a great coach, and they're going for a three-peat, they've been whistling by the graveyard to me all season long. Their games are on every week. I watch a lot of Chief games. And though
one-score games, and
a lot of come from behind. They had 12 come from behind wins, and all these like close games, like you mentioned, and all that stuff is great. And you got to be able to do that to be a great team. But I'm just like, they didn't play a team like the Eagles when the Eagles, are rested and guys were coming back from injury on that offensive line. And I'm just like, I look back at the other Super Bowl 2 years ago, and I thought there was a lot I could draw from that. And the Eagles, they had them into the fourth quarter. They had to lead and blew it in the fourth quarter. And Hurts gave up a bad fumble that was returned for a touchdown by Bolton earlier in the game. And then in the fourth quarter, they just kind of fell apart and ran out of gas. And the Chiefs were the Chiefs because they were just the more hardened team.
Yeah.
But then I look at this team that the Eagles brought into this game with Saquon Barkley, and I'm thinking, man, they're so much better.
Yeah.
They're a better team. And Saquon Barkley didn't even do all that much. He had 97 total yards. I think, 57 on the ground, 40 through the air, something like that, or maybe it's the other way around. But he really wasn't a factor.
No.
And they beat their ass.
Yeah, they delivered as Tony
defense.
Bruno says, a biblical beatdown.
Yes. Yeah, they were boat raced.
Yeah.
And a biblical beatdown, or a beatdown of biblical proportions, whatever you want to say. But, man, this defense was so good. Kansas City had one first down at halftime.
Yeah. I actually screenshotted it, 23 yards.
Yeah, and that was on their first possession.
First play of the game.
First play.
First down. Yeah.
Right. And then you're looking at the first penalty that went against the Eagles. You're thinking like, oh boy, here we go. This is the
A.J.
whole,
Brown
the conspiracy stuff comes up. Yeah, A.J. Brown nullified. Great play, nullified because of a BS call. I thought.
By the way, fourth down conversion.
Right, and a good throw and a good catch and everything. And then they showed it after they came back from commercial where he got his hand up in the face mask.
Yeah,
and I guess that's why they had to call it. But still, I mean, when you have Tom Brady and Mike Pereira both agreeing that it was a BS call, it's a BS call.
Yeah, when a referee, and Pereira especially, and in a big game too, and Brady said it, like, you want the players to determine it. We can't get ticky-tack. Yeah. I was really worried about the officiating going into the second quarter.
Me too.
Even calls against the Eagles, I thought, and against the Chiefs, I thought were a little lame.
Yeah.
Because I want the players to determine it too. Yeah, the Chiefs, 23 total yards in the first half, 3 rushing yards, 20 passing yards, total plays of 20 to 39. Eagles had the ball for 21:01, I believe it was, 9:59.
Wow.
I mean, they had the ball 2/3 of the time in the first half.
Wow. Yeah, I also thought the penalty that the Eagles got on the Goddard play where they said unnecessary roughness or a hit up by the head, I thought that was BS too. That was kind of soft. But it aided the Eagles. They ended up going and scoring the touchdown. But, man, the whole game changed with the Cooper DeJean interception.
Him. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that was what
that's the turning point.
That's the turning point. And it wasn't only the turning point because he ran it back for a touchdown. It was the turning point because I think that's where Mahomes was like, holy crap. Yeah. Like, this is not what I thought this would be. Like you could just see he was spooked.
Back-to-back sacks that preceded it.
Yes, he was spooked, man. I'll tell you. Yeah, you had Milton Williams had a sack on that play, and I forget was it Sweat? Sweat had a bunch of sacks.
He was buzzing around the field the entire game. He had such a motor in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what did he finish with? 2.5 sacks? I think.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this tweet from Rob Motti, our buddy at the AP.
Love Rob Motti.
Chiefs' first 5 possessions, 4 plays, 3 and out, pick 6, 3 and out, 16 plays and net 15 yards.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a tone setter.
Yeah,
I mean, that was it. I mean, Hurts had the bad interception early in the game, and you're thinking, oh boy, no.
Like she didn't mind it.
You didn't?
Well,
I put him down there. It ended up being okay.
On the 3.
Yeah.
And it would have been a tough field goal. I'm like, okay, it mitigates the damage of that interception a little bit.
Yeah, although Elliott was great in the game.
He was
money.
I thought he had a nice cold moment when he kicked the one, and there was the penalty for a false start on Juergens, and then he went out and kicked a 48-yarder.
Yeah,
boom.
Yeah.
It was a little shaky at first, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, they had 2. It was a long snapper actually. It was because Juergens.
That's
he
right.
doesn't do those snaps. They actually had 2 of those penalties.
Yeah.
In the game, which was really strange.
Sweat, by the way, 6 total tackles, 2 solo, 2.5 sacks.
Wow, 2.5. Milton Williams played great. And I'll tell you, I know, he didn't make a lot of plays where he ended up being the guy doing the damage.
Yeah.
But I say all of this is because of Jalen Carter, and he is such a menace. Yeah. And he needs to be double-teamed, and there's so much attention drawn to him that guys like Sweat and Milton Williams and who was the other guy? Hunt had a hell of a football game, too.
Yeah, he
Number
did.
58, he played great.
How about my boy? And the pick that he had, Zach Bond.
Oh, yes. I was thinking of you. As soon as he made that, that was a great athletic play he made.
First, the read just to stay in that spot and then start leaning to his right to make that play. Unbelievable pick at a really pivotal time because they stopped the Eagles.
Right.
The Eagles punt it down there. They get it on like the 14, or that's where they pin him deep, and then he makes the interception, and they end up scoring off it.
Yeah. Yeah, they had the ball on their own 6-yard line with 1:49 left in the half, and he gets that interception. It was unbelievable. And then, they ended up going up 24-0, and that's where you're starting to think, like, this could be over. But you don't want to start because we're from Philadelphia, and we know that weird stuff happens. And Tom Brady's calling the game, and he was down, 28-3 at halftime against the Atlanta Falcons. Yep. Which was 25-point deficit, and came back and won it. So you're thinking like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. You knew Kansas City was getting the ball to start the second half, and the Eagles made a great defensive stand on that possession. DeAndre Hopkins dropped the ball, 3rd and 11. He's wide open in the middle of the field and dropped the ball, and that was like, this is just not their night.
It just wasn't.
No.
I so agree with you about Cooper DeJean. He did that. That's his first pick, Harry.
Yeah.
On his 22nd birthday.
He had that red.
And a pick 6. Yeah, he was.
He had that red.
Read his eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
And then totally the run after the interception was great too.
And I tell you, there's fireworks going on outside my house. I can hear them as we're doing this show. And I live in the suburban Philadelphia. I'm not in Philadelphia. I'm out near Conshohocken, and there's fireworks. Can you imagine what the city is going through right now?
It's going to be insane tonight. It's going to be absolutely insane. The Eagles get the win. The reason why you're still nervous, by the way, is because Patrick Mahomes was down by 10 in each of the last 3 Super Bowls that he won.
Right, and he won. Yeah,
he won.
Yeah.
So you can be nervous there. You're allowed to be nervous.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I just stunned by the game. I thought DeJean had a really big tackle on the first Chiefs drive too, on the right side where he comes up and makes a tackle at the line of scrimmage on a little flare pass out to the left.
Yep.
Just unbelievable performance by Vic Fangio. And, I mean, you look at that defense. They had that offense so perplexed. Kelsey had, 1 target in the first half? No catches.
Yeah, 0 catches. Yeah, in the first half. Yeah.
I mean, they just took every one of their weapons away. They neutered them.
Yeah, I was really
everything away from them.
I was really kind of surprised because I thought, when it was 17-0, I'm thinking Andy Reid's always good for a trick play. Like,
Yep.
when are we going to see something crazy from Andy Reid, whether it's on a special teams, a fake punt, or whatever it is, or just some crazy playoff, and never saw it.
Yeah.
Weird. It was strange. It was it was a strange game. It really was, because I figured the Eagles would win. I didn't think they would get up that easily, and it would be almost like a shutout, blowout kind of thing. I know it ended up 40-22 or whatever it was, but that game, that
was a
like,
blowout.
Yeah, I mean, what was the biggest deficit? 34-0.
Oh my!
34-0.
Oh
That's when I was hoping for a shutout. I'm like, let's just shut them out.
Yeah, goose egg them.
Yeah.
Are we seeing yet who is the MVP?
I don't know. I got it on in the background. I got it behind my screen.
Yeah, I'm
here.
trying to look on Twitter to see who. I don't even know who the MVP should be.
Well,
I guess
mean,
maybe Hurts.
It's probably Hurts.
I thought he was good.
It's probably Hurts. Outside of the interception, I thought he was really good. And the thing that he did that I knew he was going to have to do was with his legs. He made a couple of plays in that third quarter where he just was, his runs just gashed that defense.
Yeah.
Where they're in man-to-man and everybody's like, the whole middle of the field is open. It's like 3rd and 5 or whatever it was. He's like, I'm taking it, man. And he runs it for like 15, 20 yards, whatever it was.
17-yard run.
And he had a couple of those in that second half, that started the second half, where you're just like, all right, now I feel better. Like, we're halfway through the third quarter. Kansas City still hasn't scored. We're good.
Let's take the break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about Jalen Hurts, because what this means, because he's been a player that's been very, very debated here in Philadelphia and around the NFL, frankly. So we'll talk more about him and his performance to break it down here on the Locked On Eagles postcast. We're back after this. All right, let me tell you about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has got you hooked up. How about this? Small business owners, your work doesn't end when the clock hits 5. You got way too much to do. Your business is always on your mind, which means it's time to hire a partner that works just as hard as you do. And that's where LinkedIn Jobs comes in. When you clock out, LinkedIn will clock in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free. You can share it with your network, get qualified candidates, and do it all in one place. Here's how it works. You post your job on LinkedIn's new feature. It can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. And here's a pro tip. Add the hiring frame to your profile picture to double your reach to the qualified candidates. No wonder 72% of the small businesses say LinkedIn helps them find high-quality hires. So do yourself a favor. Check out LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, Harry. We just touched on Jalen Hurts, and it's been very debated where he kind of fits in the NFL landscape. He's not a stat-building quarterback. I thought early in this game, in particular in that second quarter, despite throwing an interception, being under pressure sometimes, he just looked – they showed him on the bench after that missed pass to A.J. Brown, where Brown was a little frustrated, and he just looked so calm.
Yeah.
And he comes down the next drive, and then he hits A.J. Brown on that crossing route for the touchdown.
For the TD.
It's the demeanor. It's the leader.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, he's not going to be one of those guys that's, it's going to throw for, 450 yards kind of dude.
5 TDs.
Yeah, I mean, he'll throw for 220 to 250, and he's going to run for, 40 to 80, whatever it is. But he makes the winning plays when they need him. I'm just looking at the stats here right now. Okay, the receiving stats. Devontae Smith had the most receptions of a wide receiver. He had 4.
How many?
4. Saquon had 6. A.J. Brown only 3. Nobody had more than 69 yards receiving. Okay, so there was no 100-yard game. Saquon Barkley didn't run for more than 57 yards, and you're thinking, like, how do they win this game by this much?
Yeah, how do you put up 40 points doing that?
Yeah, well, I mean, they had the defensive touchdown and whatnot and a couple good, big field goals, but this was just an overall team effort, defensive dominant, just victory. And the quarterback, although he turned it over one time, was really efficient. 17 of 22, Jason, for 221. He averaged 10 yards a completion and 2 TDs. sacked 2 times. His rating was almost 120, and he ran it for 72 yards with another touchdown. And those rushes were huge.
They were enormous. I just thought his poise under pressure. Look, I'm a firm believer that the leader on the team, if he freaks out, then everybody else starts freaking out.
Yeah.
If he stays calm and go, this guy's calm, I'll stay calm.
Yeah.
And I thought they prepared for the game and didn't play the game before. They look like the team that was looser when the game began.
Mm-hmm.
They look like the team that had less pressure. But, I mean, both teams are it's a Super Bowl. It's the biggest global event every year. And I just thought he was unbelievable. And some people want to call him a game manager and ding him for not being a stat component. He manages to win.
Yeah, who cares? He just managed his way to a Super Bowl.
2 Super Bowls under 26 years of age, Harry.
Yeah.
That's the other part. He's a young man still.
Really impressive. And this is such a weird game. And I was watching it with my wife, and I was pointing this stuff out to her. Like the teams come out early onto the field, and there's all this pregame, the songs and this and that. They're on the field for 20 to 30 minutes before the game on the sideline, which is not normal.
Stiffening up.
Yeah. And then you're up, 24-0 at half, I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into the locker room. You have the momentum, okay? You just stopped. Kansas City gets the ball and start the third quarter, but the momentum is yours. It's like a 38-minute halftime.
Yeah.
Till the Fox crew does their highlights and all this stuff, and they set up the stage, and then Kendrick Lamar comes out and does whatever he does. And then they dismantle it. It's like 38 minutes. I mean, that can break a lot of momentum. It's a weird game.
Ask Tom Brady when he came back 28-3 against Atlanta.
Against Atlanta.
Some guys can't do that. I got to find out here. I'll check out the Eagles Twitter. I want to know who the damn MVP was. It's got to be Hurts.
It's got to be Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody else that just sticks out from a stat standpoint.
I mean, unless you're going to give it to a defensive player, I mean, I'd love that.
Sweat.
But I'd love that. Give it to Vic Fangio and the whole defense,
seriously,
for that matter. But no, it's going to be Hurts.
How about Brandon Graham coming back for the game as well? He had some an absolute steamroll late in the game as well. He ended up with 1 tackle, 1 solo tackle. That's it. But great to see him
just to be able to play in that game.
Yeah,
And
what a way to go out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's super cool. It's got to be Hurts.
Yeah, I still don't even see it on here. Come on, people, somebody update me on this damn thing already. But what a performance! Just what a game. The job that Vic Fangio's defense did, I can't even comprehend that you do that against Mahomes and Kelsey, who I think is going to retire as the best tight end ever.
He had a bad game. He didn't do anything.
No, he didn't.
He did nothing. But he's still going to waltz into Canton. But how about Avonte Maddox making a big play?
Huge play.
A guy who was benched,
Mm-hmm.
and is just a part-time player, comes up with a big play on 4th down, a pass defense.
Jumped the route, broke it up perfectly.
Put the Eagles in position, and the Smith bomb for the touchdown followed, and they went up 34-0, and that was really that sealed the deal. But it's just cool to see certain guys just sort of step up, and guys that you're thinking, man, he's kind of been replaced, and he comes in here and makes a big play.
A couple of rooks too, like we talked about Cooper DeJean. I thought Quinyon Mitchell was incredible in the game. Yeah, he had some great breakups too, just great coverage. They didn't blitz, Harry.
No,
they blitzed one time in the game.
How many sacks? 6? Was it 6?
Was it 6? I know they were going for the record was 7 in the Super Bowl. 6 for 31 yards.
Okay, 6 sacks. Yeah.
And Hurts was only sacked twice.
And I'll tell you, were it not for Mahomes' uncanny ability to just sort of boop, 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 they'd have had him 7 or 8 times easy.
Yep.
Like he made some unbelievable escapes.
Yeah. Just a stunning performance. And when we take our last break, I want to come back. We got to talk about the roster construction because so many guys had such a huge impact on the Super Bowl season and win.
Yeah.
That weren't here last year. Like that defense was not good last year. To come back and make some of the strokes. Everybody knows I've been a harsh critic of Howie Roseman, but a master stroke of an offseason that paid off in a Super Bowl win. and there's no debating. We'll talk about Bond. Obviously, the picks of Mitchell and Cooper DeJean paying off in year one. You got a 22-year-old white cornerback that just had a pick six in the Super Bowl, Harry, on Patrick Mahomes. Like, where are we going here?
Why you got to say he's white? What is this, like Jason Seymour's Revenge?
Yeah, good pull. That is a great pull. Let's take the time
out of USC, by the way.
Yes.
Cooper's out of Iowa.
Correct. Yeah. He looks like an Iowa boy.
Dude, have you seen him play basketball?
It's ridiculous. He's
got dunks that guy, the hops that guy has.
Yeah, he was at a Flyers game after they won the NFC Championship game that next couple of days. He just looks like you wouldn't even know who the heck LeBron didn't know who he was.
Well, yeah, LeBron shined him on.
Yeah, and Skip Bayless is giving LeBron the business during the Super Bowl, saying you should have known who he was after he scored that touchdown. Harry's going to tell you about FanDuel after this.
All right, Jason, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on that than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth-quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late-game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is so easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your one shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
All right, finally I've confirmed it. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of Super Bowl 59.
Yeah.
Wow, I see it right here on ESPN, at ESPN reporting that. Unbelievable.
Yep.
He ends up getting the MVP.
Yeah.
Roster construction, Harry.
Yeah.
They're going to end up losing their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. He's going to be the coach of the Saints. He might as well stay down.
How about that?
Yep. Good on him. I mean, changing this team from a pass-first and a pass-heavy league to a run-heavy team in the NFL.
He worked with his personnel. I mean, that's really what it was, and good on him. You might sit here and say, Eagles fans say, man, why are you leaving to take the Saints job? You get a better job. I mean, well, man, they won the Super Bowl. You're never going to be more marketable.
Nope.
Now, there's probably going to be 5 or 6 more jobs open next year. Would he get a better job? Possibly, but
maybe not.
There's only 32 of these, man.
Yeah.
And you get the
you
opportunity.
Don't pass up, Harry.
You get the opportunity to lead an organization, you take it.
Yeah.
So good on him.
Just the construction of this team from the draft and guys jumping in year one and being major contributors. And we talked about your guys all year on that defensive line. Like the way that line has been built.
Yeah.
This defense has been constructed. Zach Bond, who, I mean, did anybody think Zach Bond was going to come in and be an X-factor player at all this season?
No, and I don't even think Howie Roseman thought he would be nearly as good as he is. It's just you got to credit Vic Fangio for just, looking to see what kind of a player he had and said, okay, this is what they had him do in New Orleans. Well, I'm going to have him do something different because I think he fits in here for me, and it worked out perfectly. It was unbelievable.
There's always a Saints player that comes in and is a big part of the defense when the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Malcolm Jenkins coming in.
Oh,
before
good pull.
Remember, he was not the desired guy that Eagle fans wanted them to acquire at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But they end up. Was it Earl Thomas the one they wanted them to get?
Well, that was out of the draft. They wanted Thomas.
But there was some other free agent that year with Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah,
I forget who it was.
Was it Ward?
Yeah, it was.
Might have been Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting him out, and he was such a great leader for that
Malcolm
team.
Jenkins was great on that team.
He really was.
He was.
He was the swagger.
Yeah.
And this team, when you look at the 17 team to this team, this is the better team.
Oh, yeah.
This is the greatest Eagles team ever assembled. I mean, I'm not going back to 1960 or 1948 with Greasy.
No.
but this is the greatest Super Bowl era team that's ever been assembled.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, you're right.
And they've earned the right to be called the best team in the NFL. They were better than the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, easily.
So you can't say, well, it was just one game and they weren't the best. No.
Yeah.
They went on a run after the bye week that was epic.
Mm-hmm.
And they played an extra game. They played wild card weekend to boot, which usually can wear a team down. And they went in, and the knock on Jalen Hurts was, he doesn't win any road playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
They only played one. Went in, two. The other Super Bowl that he was in, and Tampa last year. And then they went into this game and just absolutely steamrolled a dynasty.
Yeah. And they had injuries in the offensive line throughout the playoffs. Guys were getting banged up here and there. And then you had this defensive front and, without blitzing, manhandled Kansas City's offensive line. That's an Andy Reid offensive line, okay?
This is all Andy Reid's philosophy, by the way.
It is.
Up front.
And ironically, this is the way Andy Reid's team got whipped by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a bunch of years ago, too, when their offensive line just got manhandled. It's
Brady and Gronk. That Brady and Gronk box.
It's kind of out of character.
Yeah.
But they totally just owned them at the line of scrimmage. So it was. I tell you, this Jalen. I watch him. I spot shadow him. Remember the old spot shadow? Because I just watched this guy just totally take up so much attention. And he's relentless. He plays practically every snap at that position. It's unheard of.
It really is.
He freed everybody else up. Yeah.
He's the reason why they don't have to blitz.
Right.
That I think that one player is the guy that's most responsible for them not having to blitz. The other thing, too, is there's so many of these huge factor players. Like we talked about Hurts being 26. Saquon's 28 today. It's his birthday as well. Happy birthday to him and Cooper DeJean.
How about that?
DeJean 22. You got Quinyon Mitchell. You got a lot of players. You're going to lose guys naturally. Goddard's still not old.
Right.
They have these pieces still. I mean, we could be back here a year from now in the Eagles postcast in Super Bowl 60, and it could be these same two teams battling it out.
Yeah.
Next year, just as easily.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that offensive line will stay intact.
Yeah, I mean, they turn guys over other than Lane Johnson. They've turned the entire thing over.
Right.
Like Mailata's still going to be there. I mean, these guys are all going to still be here.
Right.
So,
now, I'm looking at the weather forecast, Jason, because there's a parade to be had now. The weather does not look good. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday in the Philadelphia area.
So last year, Harry, or the last time they won it in 17,
you and I were
together.
On
the Wednesday, yeah. On February 8th, it was a Wednesday.
Okay.
Down there, we were right on Broad Street, right at City Hall, a couple blocks down. What's the best day to have the parade? I don't know if you can turn it as quick as Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday says there's 2 inches of snow and 34 degrees. It doesn't matter about the temperature, but Wednesday looks even worse. 3 to 5 inches of snow. And then Thursday, it's 85% rain, 0.4 inches of rain. So the middle of the week looks bad.
Does Friday look good? Have it on a
Friday looks great.
Have it on a free beer Friday.
Sunshine on 36 degrees.
Do it. Make it Friday. Kick off the weekend with it. Screw it. There's no Eagle fans are going to go nuts. I mean, the parade we were at that we did the show from that day was insane.
Well, the problem
I don't expect this to be any different.
The players want to get out of here. Like the parade, they have to hang around in town for. So
they want to get to the tropics, Harry.
Exactly. Yeah.
And really celebrate with the crystal and everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah, they want to get out of here. So I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday. Boy, that's going to be a miserable day weather-wise. But Eagle fans probably won't even feel it. Probably
Sirianni, Harry.
Yeah.
I still kind of at times am bothered by his demeanor, but the dude just wins. What are your thoughts on Sirianni?
Yeah, I mean, he's not one of my guys. But
players,
the players respond. They respond to him, and he kind of dialed it back in the Super Bowl. I thought he shaved up a little bit. He didn't look as awful.
Trying to be a player.
Yeah, he looked good, and the players love him. It's obvious they love him. They play for him. And that's all that matters. That's all he can do. And he's become like a CEO kind of coach.
He has. He's let go.
Yeah, now he's going to have to get another offensive coordinator, and
his fourth one, by the way.
Yeah, but the track record, he finds guys that are pretty good, and I trust he'll find another one, and they'll have to go at it again. Now, is it going to be one of these guys where he feels he needs to sort of, go back in and become sort of the quasi offensive coordinator? I don't know. We'll see, but I got to give him credit. The players love him, and he wins. Yeah, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, and look, the fan base is freaking out.
What are you watching?
I'm just Googling something. I want to Google the Eagles year-by-year record since 2000. I know that since Jeffrey Lurie's been here, because he caught a lot of flack over the years, Harry, for saying the Eagles were the gold standard when they hadn't won anything of extreme significance yet.
Well, right. I mean, they always jumped the gun on that stuff.
They did.
And Joe Banner was part of that. And I saw Joe Banner tweeting yesterday, I believe it was, about
all the people he placed.
All the people he's put in place. That are, it's like, dude, who cares?
Yeah.
It's not about
one
you,
of those guys.
Joe.
Well, he just wanted to take a shot at Cleveland for only giving him a year. That was his motivation.
Yeah, okay.
It's just stupid. Who cares? Yeah. Making it about himself. But the Eagles, since 2000, Harry, they've been to the Super Bowl how many times now? I mean, they went to 3 straight NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl in 2004. They went to the Super Bowl in, what was it? I'm trying to think.
No.
2007, they went back to, or 2008, they went back to a conference championship.
Conference championship and lost in Arizona.
2017 season, they go to the Super Bowl, they win.
They win it.
3 years ago, they lose, and they obviously go this year and they win.
So 4 Super Bowls in that period of time.
4 Super Bowls in the 25 years.
Yeah.
They've gone to, I guess that's now, 9 NFC championship games. They played 19 playoff games, and they're a team that's in the mix every year. Mm-hmm. They're interesting every year.
They're definitely interesting. Yeah.
Here's my final thought, because an industry was built in this city on the Eagles disappointing the fan base.
Yeah.
The Eagles causing heartache.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Wing Bowl. The entire sports radio industry was built on the pillars of disappointment, of always being the bridesmaid and never being the bride.
Right.
Sports radio was built in this city on that.
Yeah.
We can't play the card anymore. You can't do it. Yeah. Because over the last 25 years, they are amongst the gold standard of the best teams in the NFL. Maybe not to the Patriots level yet. Maybe not to some of the other teams' level yet. Or like the Steelers of the 70s.
Right.
But they're not far off from that now. They're in those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The Broncos in the second half of the 90s.
Washington in the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. They got a ways to go for all that. But they're obviously a team that is just, in the NFC, definitely in the upper echelon, top 2-3 teams each and every year, it seems. And how great is it that they found a way to get into the Super Bowl and beat their ex-coach, who had beaten them a couple years ago. I just think that is so cool. Because Andy Reid's he's a great coach. There's no doubt about it. He was a great coach here. He just never could get over the hump because he never had a quarterback like he has in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, Donovan was good. Mm-hmm. Mahomes is great. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much the difference. And then he kind of figured out, like, I got to run the ball a little bit more. I got to do things a little bit different. Yeah, I got to get. Yeah,
I got to do a better job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
but here's the thing.
It's so cool.
Yeah, both Super Bowl wins come in similar fashion. The Eagles go to the Super Bowl in 2005 from the 2004 season and lose to Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
Right.
They win their first Super Bowl over Bill Belichick and the Patriots and Tom Brady. They lose the Super Bowl a couple of years ago to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
They come back in this Super Bowl and they beat Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Revenge is a dish best served cold, Harry.
Yeah, and those are the two GOATs. I mean, there's a lot of people starting to think, like, if Mahomes had won this Super Bowl again, like people are saying, oh, he's the new GOAT, like because he's so young and all that. And he
4 and 5 years.
He may end up being it. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, think about that. They played the Patriots with Brady twice, loss, win, and then they play the Chiefs twice with Andy Reid and Mahomes, loss, win.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Look, full value for both of their Super Bowl wins. They did not have the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. You know what I mean? Or Rays, I guess they were called at that time.
Right, yeah, the Rays, yeah.
I mean, I don't take anything away from that championship because the Phillies earned it. But when you beat the team of this millennium in the Patriots and you beat the team that the next one of those in the Super Bowl, you've got full value.
No doubt.
Incredible. Unbelievable. We're going to wrap it up there. What a season it's been here on the Locked On Eagles podcast.
Yeah.
Harry and I have loved doing it. We hope they'll have us back. Right? Well, I hope they'll expand our role with the network because it's been a thrill. We got to thank a few people from the network. Sam Ekstrom is a guy that I deal with quite a bit on the back end on stuff. Harry's been great all season. My former boss at WIP, Tom Lee, who succeeded.
Love Tom Lee.
Tom, he was the guy that came after Tom Bigbie. Not an easy chair to fill.
Right, yeah.
When you come in. Tell Tom I need to see him. But Tom, a great guy in the industry that I've known for years, was the guy that brought us on board. So we thank him and everybody at the Locked On Network. It was incredible. So we had a great experience with it, and we're looking to do more. So we hope they'll have us back and continue to expand our role. Any last words from you, Har?
Yeah, I can't wait till next season. I'm already, I'm moving on to the draft, free agency and the draft.
And another college football season. You going to Combine, Harry?
Yeah. Combine. Hey, Indianapolis is a nice town.
It is.
It is.
Combine's always a thing, too.
Good
I know the Cubs will be there.
If Locked On will send me, I'll go.
Perfect. Beautiful, man. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching all season. Do yourself. Give a nice WWF to that like button there and let more people know about the Locked On Eagles postcast. It's been a thrill all season. Thanks to everybody for listening and watching to the Locked On Eagles postcast. We'll see you next time.